Hey everyone, Mark here. Just thought I'd go ahead and do another quick, I don't know if it's quick, be quick for you, not for me, another quick video on installing some gear that I know a lot of M35 owners end up doing. And again, looking around on the internet, haven't really seen anything as far as a how-to or even a video of installing a gun, I guess a gun rack or a gun holder. I forget the official word now. In the cab of an M35a2. So I'll go ahead and we're going to go through the process of what it takes to go ahead and get this done. So we'll start with mine. Mine's a 1973 model by AM General M35a2C cargo type. And but the dashboard here is common for all kinds of models, not even just for the M35. But anyway, so here's what we're going to start with. Now, again, if you own one of the things, you're probably pretty familiar with your own dash, and where the installation is going to go. Here, I'm going to hop up here real quick. Excuse me. Is right there. So what the directions want us to do is to go ahead and put. It's going to be like a main mount right here, and then directly on the floor below down here will be where the butt end of the weapons or the rifles will sit, like right here and right here at a slight angle. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do today, and we'll get some video of all this going together and the little parts and pieces, and hopefully this helps you. Oops, there we go. Helps you understand kind of the way that it should be going in and how it looks when it's all done. So let's get started. Well, in the next step after you look at the instructions and you break out your parts, you have to decide how this is going to be inside your own vehicle. Where are you going to put everything? So I just spent a lot of time off camera, just showing you how it looks before we do anything. Seeing how well the gun will fit, basically based on their drawing and their expectations. So I have here a AR type of rifle. You can see it's not an AR-15, but it's like one. It's the 22 caliber version. So I figured this would be the one that's most closely representative to how it's going to fit in here. Now, so I had to look at specifically where the front sight is and how that was going to end up leaning against the mount that's over here, and what kind of angle I have, and what do I do about the bottom. So I had to go ahead and play with this for quite a while to see what fit. And naturally, over the years things get moved around, and even they're basing some of the measurements off the floor plan here, but this covers the transmission. And that gets removed and put back on, and actually, so there's a slight deviation somewhat in the angles that are coming off from the bolts over toward this side, which is what the instructions are referencing. Now I have a two-gun what they call an M14 M16 rifle mounting kit. I have a two-gun version of it, and so they actually cover. This is the beginning of the one gun version, I believe. Yeah. So let's see. Let's get down here. So they have you fooling. All right. Let's see if I can get mucking around. If you have an old style data plate up here for water forwarding, they have you modify that. But then they come over here to this one specifically, and they want you to go ahead and do these measurements that are showing here. Well, mine are going to be different than that. Based on the weapon I'm using, but I'm surprised it's off, because it should be fairly close to what an M16 or M4 or something is in size. And then they show you what the bottom piece is here, the little guide for the back of the butt of the gun. So, and then give you the measurements here. Well, I ended up doing something quite different in the end. Here, this is the other side of that, just to let you know. Oops, yes, did about right. Here we go. So they start with the one gun style, and then they say, oh, okay, well, if you're going to do the two gun style, you know, here, this is how you do that. You add the second one right here after you install the first one right there. Another thing they don't do in this drawing, and they should, is that the distance between the two bottom halves, they show basically that they're touching. When in reality, the upper part that you mount to the dash, there's about an inch that separates the two guns as you lock them into place. Well, that inch should be carried down to the bottom here, so that the guns don't end up forming a V, you know, coming from the top to the bottom and basically touching each other. There should be that gap of an inch from the top to the bottom to allow for, you know, the gun's width and everything. And they really don't show that here in the drawings. So at this point, you know, you almost have to go on your own. And then they show you kind of here, kind of where you're going to mount it. And this is the mounting of it. Right here, you can see they have the angle bracket. And then how you put on the pieces that go to the angle bracket that actually lock the weapon in, right there. So while I was off camera, I went ahead and assembled that as well. Yeah. So there it is there. There it is assembled before I actually install it. So, you know, these guys, you know, obviously they actually pull out, and you twist them, and that's what kind of locks them in. So it's almost like hood latches, and these have springs and you just pull them out. And of course then the angle bracket back here that lets you mount it to the dash. So what it should look like, as we lift it up here, and just to see what it looks like with it's just the bracket. I actually have a second bracket as a spare. It would go right here, like so. So if you wanted to just put the bracket on and then mount up all the components on it, that's what it's going to look like once you get that first bracket on there. So there's that. So I'm going to drill some holes here real quick and get that thing mounted up. Okay, the first measurement that I have for the first one, that will be going, you know, approximately about here, and the other one goes up here. The primary hole to mark right here was at 11¼ inches from the back of this plate. Because I told you I had concerns that this particular cover had been put on and off and removed, it could be off as much as 1/4 inch this direction or that direction, and that would mess up your alignment over here. So I kind of discounted measuring from this guy over, which in the directions they actually show you that they want you to do. So I'm doing more from this, which I think is more, it's welded or spot welded to this, and so obviously that hasn't been removed since it was installed. So 11¼ to the first mark. This is the primary one that you're going to set up for everything, so it's important that you measure that. And it ended up being hold on a second, from the corner, sorry for all this, from the corner it ended up being 1¼ inch approximately. So 1¼ inch from this little corner over to there. So this is my primary hole I'm going to drill. So 11¾ to here from the front of the vehicle, 1¾ to from here to here, right? No, 1¼ sorry, 1¼ 11¾ So once you drill that hole, that's it. All the rest of this stuff is going to follow naturally. And so the second hole that I'm going to drill is this guy right here, and he was approximately, where are you? There you are. 14 inches. Or excuse me. Yeah, 14 inches. Because he's back here. So this is 14 inches to the back hole up here, and then we got the measurements for the other one here. So once that's in, boom, you're gonna have that guy in like so. And then, like I said, then what all you have to do is get the other one set up. Make sure you have an inch. It's an inch between here and here. And in the directions, it says there should be an inch from the back of this one to this one. So this little gap right here, that needs to be an inch. So it makes it a lot easier. You almost don't even need to take measurements from the front of the vehicle.